lot of people, back to school time means back to juggling busy schedules, which is why it's important to have plenty of delicious, no-fuss recipes on hand. Katie Workman is the author of the Mom 100 Cookbook and the creator of the Mom100.com blog, and she joins us here on Connecticut Style. Nice to have you here, Katie.
Thank you.
First, let's talk about the cookbook. We kind of introduced it a little bit, but these are go-to easy recipes, right?
They are. They're go-to, they're easy, they're really designed to please, the kids and the parents, because sometimes your kids are a little bit on the picky side, but you don't need to be bored senseless when you're making dinner. So a lot of the recipes sort of have a fork in the road so that you can keep part of it a little bit on the plainer and simpler side, keep going with the rest of the recipes so that the more adventurous eaters are excited by their dinner and the pickier eaters are not freaking out.
That makes sense, and especially you don't want to be making 5 different things for dinner.
You do not. There's no short order cookness in my house.
That's true. All right, and tell us a little bit about your blog, what we'll find on it.
It's more recipes, more yapping about, family and real life, and just sort of the trials and tribulations and the fun of getting your kids to sort of embrace healthy eating and and not take it all so seriously. There's a lot of gloom and doom out there, and it's dinner. It's dinner.
It's true, right? It
Lunch,
shouldn't be that
snacks.
complicated.
Yeah.
How old are your kids?
10 and 13.
And do they help you out in the kitchen? Are they into it?
They do. They do. They actually, it was very cute. They made my husband and I our anniversary dinner a couple nights ago.
Oh,
Sort of
sweet.
surprised us. So that was really lovely.
Great. Did they clean up afterwards?
No, they didn't. Thank
so
you
there
for
you
asking.
go. All right, what are we making here today, Katie?
Today we're going to do a soy-ginger flank steak, and it's incredibly easy. What's so nice about this steak is that you don't have to marinate it. So it's one of those things you could start at 6 o'clock and have dinner on the table at 6:30, even if you hadn't thought ahead and done all those great things you intended to do in the morning.
Sure.
So we start off with a piece of flank steak, and you can use skirt steak, you can use London broil. It's a nice, inexpensive cut. You just season it up a little bit with some pepper on both sides. We don't need salt because there's going to be soy sauce in the recipe, which of course has salt. Then you make this very simple glaze.
Okay.
Over medium heat, heat up a little oil and some minced garlic and minced ginger. And I'll just show you really quickly. You just want to heat it for a minute or two till it's golden, till you can smell it. That's ready. This is a really fun kitchen tip. So you know how it's
the ginger root, right?
The ginger.
Okay.
So fresh ginger, when you use a vegetable peeler, it's very hard to navigate all these little bumps and grooves. All you need is a teaspoon, and the skin is so thin that you can just scrape the skin off with a teaspoon, and it works just as well as a vegetable peeler, but it's easier to just sort of navigate.
That is a handy tip.
And the kids can do it because there's nothing sharp involved.
There you
so
go.
that keeps them busy for a few minutes over
I like
there.
that thought.
So now we've sauteed this up until it's aromatic and a little bit golden. And we're going to add 2/3 of a cup of low-sodium soy sauce. Would you give a stir for me?
Certainly.
And if you don't have low-sodium soy sauce, you can just add about half a cup of regular soy sauce and a few tablespoons of water, which dilutes it. You still get the great soy flavor, but you don't have as much salt, which is something we're all thinking about.
Sure.
And then we add some brown sugar. This is about half a cup of brown sugar right here.
Okay.
And that's just gets stirred in. And a nice pinch of red pepper flakes.
Oh, a little kick there,
Little kick, yeah. And start off with a small amount, and you can always add a pinch to the sauce at the end if you want it for the grown-ups.
Okay.
So that is going to simmer, and it reduces, which means exactly what it sounds like it means.
Sure.
The amount gets smaller.
Okay.
Until you have this sort of nice syrupy, glazy consistency, which you can see here. So we're going to set aside a little bit of it for brushing, and we'll keep this. This is for brushing the steak at the end.
Okay.
So all you do is you take your steak, you put it on a rimmed baking sheet that's been sprayed or lightly oiled.
Okay.
And you give this a nice brush with this beautiful glaze, and into the broiler it goes for about 4 minutes. Flip it over.
That's quick and easy, 4 minutes,
it's so
right?
quick and easy. You can probably smell this. Nobody else in the audience can,
I
but
wish you could.
You
It
can
smells
smell
great.
this. So you give this a nice baste. 4 minutes. Flip it. Another baste. 4 more minutes. That'll get you to about medium rare.
Perfect.
Now, the
okay.
most important thing when you are cooking meat and many other things, when you take it out, let it sit.
Because it's still going to cook a little bit, right?
It's called carryover cooking, and sometimes you'll test it, and it'll look gorgeous and pink. And you start slicing it, and all of a sudden,
happened to it?
what happened? The juices go all over the cutting board, and that beautiful pink meat starts to turn a little bit gray. It's because the meat didn't have time to reabsorb the juices and keep them in the meat where they belong. So then you're going to slice it very thinly, and if you slice it diagonally, you get those beautiful thin flat slices that look very restaurant-y. And we will take a rest of our glaze and a fresh basting brush. And all you have to do at that point is just give it a little bit of a brush right over the cut slices.
That's an impressive dinner. I mean, this didn't take too long, right?
And as you can see, that's how, because you didn't marinate it, this way you get the flavor of the glaze on each piece instead of just on the outside of the steak.
That makes sense. Now, what would you serve it with?
This is brown rice, which of course is, we're all trying to get more whole grains into our lives. So brown rice, this is some roasted asparagus, beautiful tomatoes for color, especially this time of year. Lovely tossed salad. You can, while this is broiling, you can put the asparagus in with it, and this is pretty much half an hour start to finish.
I love this. Katie, what a great idea. We're going to dig in at the end of the show.
Good.
Thank you so much for the recipe. We'll have it over at WTNH.com. Just click style and give us your website one more time.
Themom100.com.
Very good. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks.
All right, up next, we're going to give you a preview to the I Am Festival. When Style returns, we'll be right back.